Hey everybody, it's Dave Juno, the Meniere's Disease Warrior. How you all doing? I'm doing pretty good for Friday. Beautiful day out today. Um, so what are you gonna do? What? But what I want to talk about is sometimes we have to really think about what information we actually put out there. And the reason why I'm saying this is because every couple of weeks or every week, sometimes more than multiple times in multiple groups, people post things and they really don't look into what they're posting, or they don't read everything. Now, kudos to some of the people who are posting stuff and trying to help and trying to find things that's going to help us and things like that. That's awesome. Okay. And there are a lot of people that do this and some new people, which is great. Because when I was first diagnosed with this, I mean, I was I was too much in a tailspin to worry about that to do that. But it's awesome. But the thing is that you got to read what you post. And I'm going to talk about two different things. One is SPI-1005, and it's going to be. I'm going to just say the name. It's Ebselen, and that's what I'm going to say about it the whole meeting, video. And the thing is that everybody sees this and they post it and they think that they just found something new, and you really didn't. Okay. um and there's a lot of information that you're not really trying understanding or reading, because a lot of times people see one word and run with it. And you can see this a lot in our society, especially, go on TikTok. If you ever go on TikTok, there's so many people that they see one thing, or they say something, and then somebody shares it out all over the place, and and the next thing you know, everybody's all messed up, right? They got wrong information, and they can't give it. If you give them the right information, it becomes impossible to calm them down. Case in point, excellent. It somehow this post said on the fast track to being approved. It's not on the fast track to being approved. It said it qualifies to be designated as fast track. It doesn't say it's fast. It does say fast track, but then when you read the article, there's the truth. Designated qualifies to be designated. And designated doesn't mean on a fast track. That's a list of other drugs that are in that same thing that can go even further. It just means it's on a list of fast track medications. Okay, and it's really not on a fast track. And if you think about it, because if you really do research, because I researched it further, they've been trying to, they've been testing this since 2010. 2010. That's 15 years. Okay, 2010 was the first clinical trial. Second clinical trial was about 2015, and I think this last one started 2022. I could be wrong about. I know I'm right about the date, the first date. Um, but it's 15 years, and now they're testing it again to see if there's any side effects. Because let's face it, you don't want to take a medication that's going to give you another illness. Sure, it's going to help with the tinnitus in the hearing, low end hearing, and that's great. But you don't want it to cause something else. All of a sudden you're having a heart problem. Okay, so now they're doing that. So things are going to take even longer to come out, even if they're on a fast track, because they're really not going to have the same issue that they had with COVID, the COVID vaccine. So that's the thing. And by the time this comes out, they're talking mid 2026, late 2026, which in my opinion means probably mid 2027. Okay, because it just the government just takes so long. The United States government takes so long to do anything. Even if it's fast track, doesn't mean it's coming out tomorrow. So even if it gets approved from the FDA, okay, or when it gets approved, you're not going to be able to get it that day, because now they have to find a way to produce it. Okay, so you're still talking 2 years, three tops before this thing even comes out. And in all honesty, insurance is probably not going to pay for it right away. Or if they do, the co-payment isn't going to be anything, and it's going to cost a lot of money. These people, sure, they want to help people, but they also want to make money. Okay, and because the only people really talking about it is the company that's trying to put it out, and they're actually hiring people to talk about it on YouTube now. So I don't know. The second one I wanted to talk about was somebody, and this was a few people, a couple months ago was posting about a Meniere's MRI machine. There's no Meniere's MRI machine. What they mean is, when they say a Meniere's MRI, is what they mean is they changed their medication that they use or the dye that they use to something that is called 3D radar or something. And it's just a different, it's a nuclear medicine, believe it or not. A different isotope that will actually cause the things to light up in your ear, the cochlears to light up. Okay, it's not any different. It's not a different machine. It's not a different scanner. It's just going to cause whatever um, to make that brighter, to make sure to see if there's any damage going on in there. It's a really cool tool, but you can get that done anywhere. Okay, it doesn't have to be. It's not like there's only two places in the world to do it. No, you can get that done at Shields MRI up here in New England. And the reason why I know this is because I asked them when I had an MRI done last month about it. So I've really been kind of looking into it more and more and more because I wanted to get more information. But it's really just an MRI with different type of contrast. That's all. And an MRI is a good thing because you want to eliminate things. Okay, if you go to a doctor and they do a hearing test and you have low frequency hearing problem, and they say, "Oh yeah, it's Meniere's," go find another doctor if they're not going to have you at least have an MRI or a CAT scan, because you want to eliminate tumors, acoustic neuroma. You want to eliminate um, other brain tumors, aneurysms, um, strokes. You might have had a stroke and you didn't know it. Because sometimes you can have silent strokes. My dad, I believe, did at one point in his life. So yeah, you can have silent strokes. So those are the things you want to get tested for and eliminate that stuff before you go down the Meniere's thing. Um, and that's about it. Just really check your sources, check what you're doing, check different things, and whatever you do, don't use Google AI. That will have you running around in circles. Okay? Don't. AI is not what people think it is. Okay? So yeah, don't do that. Don't. That's like WebMD. No, no. Um, and the next thing I'm looking into is the vagus nerve because well, I'm researching it because there's a lot of people, if you go on TikTok, that are saying, "Oh, your vertigo is not from Meniere's disease; it's the vagus nerve, and we can do this and this and this, and you'll be fine." And I don't buy it. Okay, vagus nerve, I think, does more than just it doesn't more than just your head. Um, 'Cause I remember my dad when he had a stomach surgery back in the '70s. It was like one of the first geriatric gastriatic bypass stomach bypasses, bariatric bypass. Um, and he didn't have it done because he was overweight. My dad was like this. He had a problem with the stomach that they had to bypass. So he was like one of the first patients to have it done. And I remember him telling me, and I remember the doctor talking to him and my mother saying that they cut the vagus nerve, and it was so he wouldn't vomit because you didn't want him to vomit and rip the sutures and all that stuff. So I don't think the vagus nerve has that much to do with it, but I'm researching. Okay, I'm not. Don't quote me, but that's going to be probably my next video is about the vagus nerve. So on that note, I'll talk to you later. Have a fantastic weekend. And if the weather isn't going to be good where you are, like it isn't going to be here, hey man, it's okay to rest, and it's okay to say no to doing things. So remember, you're the one that's more important than anybody when it comes to having this disease. On that note, I'll talk to you later.